Hey everybody, welcome back to another day of Trek into History. Sorry, that is my car again. Tomorrow is payday. I am going to get that damn thing replaced. It's the serpentine belt. It's a great day. Today is April 25th, 2024. Not that that really matters, because we're just talking about this day in history for April 25th. Currently, we are having a bunch of liquid sunshine, which I'm actually okay with, because I have been having nasty allergies this past several days, and now that the rain is in, the pollens have settled, and I'm actually on the mend. I'm doing a lot better from what I was like 2 or 3 days ago. So let's get into the births, shall we? So, on this day, April 25th, in 1599, you may or may not have heard of this name. He's a famous English statesman, meaning he was a lawmaker. He was someone up in government for England. And on this day in 1599, Oliver Cromwell will be born. And on this date in 1859, no, excuse me, not 1859, trying to find my notes here, 1874, excuse me. On this date in 1874, the Nobel Prize winning recognized inventor of the radio, Marconi, he had it was like Giuseppe, or I don't know, it was a big long name, I didn't write it down, I'm sorry. Marconi is, he has gone down in history as basically the inventor of the modern day radio, invented the radio waves, blah, 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 blah. There is a bone of contention there. There was someone else that had, it's rumored that he actually invented radio, but because Marconi was able to get the patent on it first, that's why Marconi is listed in history as being the inventor of modern day radio. Anyway, on this day, I hate that belt. I'm so sorry. On this day in 1874, Marconi would be born. In 1917, that would be the year that we officially entered actual combat operations in World War I. 1917, Ella Fitzgerald, she was an American singer. She would be born on that day, on this day in 1917. On this day in 1932, if you are a fan of the Harlem Globetrotters, Meadowlark Lemon was born on this day in 1932. And if you've never seen the Harlem Globetrotters, it's a great show. It's such a good show. On this day in 1940, actor Al Pacino, he's famous for Scent of a Woman, Heat, Scarface, the Godfather series of movies. He's done a lot of good stuff. He was in Dick Tracy, so that's probably something he would say was his bad stuff. I don't know, but love Al Pacino. Today is his birthday. He was born in 1940. And to round out the birthdays, on this day in 1976, NBA basketball player Tim Duncan was born on this day. Alright? So, on this day in 1791, the town of Petersburg, Virginia is captured by the British. This is during the American Revolution, by the way. They're captured by the British, and what's notable about that is who the commanders were, right? One of them was William Phillips, which I never heard of until I just looked this up. But the other was Benedict Arnold. And if you don't know, Benedict Arnold was he switched sides. He was with the Colonials, and then he felt slighted. He was he kind of had an ego, and he just he ended up switching sides, and then went to go command forces with the British. The British never really respected him. Could you really respect a turncoat? Not really. He did live out the rest of his days in England, because, well, he didn't have a home in the United States, when the fledgling United States was created. Because he had turned his back on the Colonials, he basically was a traitor. He would have been executed if they ever got a hold of him. So when the war ended, he went back to England with the rest of the British. But yeah, Benedict Arnold took Petersburg. In 1792, the first guillotine was ever erected. And if you don't know what the guillotine is, it's this big, huge execution device. It's basically it's a big tall stanchion that has the big heavy metal razor that drops and it beheads the condemned. So the very first guillotine was erected on this day in 1792, and it was used to execute a highwayman. And that's all the details that it really gave. If I have to guess, I would say it was a highwayman back then was probably defined as someone who robbed people along the highway. Passers-by coming, they stop, they rob them. They're bandits, thieves, whatever. So this person was executed on this day. In 1859. That is the year that Oregon gained its statehood. But on this day in 1859, so Oregon gained its statehood on Valentine's Day, 1859. So now, here a couple months later, on this day in 1859, the construction of the Suez Canal would begin. And that's important because that linked the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea, which the Red Sea linked to the Indian Ocean, and on the other side of that, the Mediterranean linked to the Atlantic Ocean. So it's, it basically made a thoroughfare for shipping. In 1901, New York becomes the very first state to mandate the use of license plates on automobiles. So that's pretty interesting. In 1915, on this day, this is when, again, we're back in World War I. On this day, the combined forces of the Australians and the New Zealand troops, they would land at Gallipoli, and where they would soon thereafter initiate the Battle of Gallipoli, which was a huge disaster. It was a big logistics nightmare, really. Could they have taken the Ottomans? Probably, had the Navy actually bothered to get its ships in there to support the troops that were there. Allied Command who was basically the British, they had determined that they were going to go forward with their siege plans, even though they didn't have the backing of the Navy to kind of soften up the target points there where the entrenched Ottomans were dug in. And because they didn't have that, it really was a turkey shoot in the fact that the Australians and the New Zealanders would, rush the enemy, and they would get mowed down because the enemy had the high ground. So it was one of those things where Winston Churchill was actually in charge of the Navy, I think. And he was in charge of something, but because of the failure, he was actually relieved of his duty. And then he would make a comeback years later, but that's another story. So that was 1915. In 1959, so we just talked about the Suez Canal. So in 1959, the Lawrence Seaway opened. And the Lawrence Seaway, what that is that was like the Suez Canal connected Atlantic Ocean to Mediterranean Ocean to Red Sea to Indian Ocean. What the Lawrence Seaway did is it connected the Great Lakes to the Lawrence River, which the Lawrence River dumps out into the North Atlantic. So it was another seaway extension like what they did at the Suez Canal. So that's pretty cool. In 1995, Ginger Rogers, she was a famous actress in the 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s, I think. She was she co-starred a lot with Fred Astaire. It's on this day in 1995 that she would pass away at the age of 83. And another passing on this day in 2019, NBA player John Havlicek, he was known as the Sixth Man. He would die on this day at the age of 79. So that's it. That is your day in history for April 25th. I forgot to give a shout out. My good friend Scott, today is his birthday, so I forgot to start off with wishing him a happy birthday, so I would like to do that now. My good friend Scott, known him for years, we're fellow Star Wars nerd friends, yeah, happy birthday, Scott. I know that you have liquid sunshine for your birthday, but it's keeping the pollens down, so that's okay. But I hope you have a fantastic day and a blessed day. So take care, my friend. And to the rest of you, we will do this again tomorrow for April 26th, where I will have successfully completed another revolution around the sun. Yes, that's right. Tomorrow is my birthday. And so I will be 49 tomorrow. I'm getting that out of the way now so that I won't be, patting myself on the back, wishing myself a happy birthday tomorrow, because I'm not going to do that. That's just dumb. But I turn 49 tomorrow, and we will do this this day in history again for tomorrow, April 26th. So, yeah. So with that said, have a great day. Have a fantastic day. Be blessed. And we'll talk to you again tomorrow. All right? Take care. Bye.